Okay, I'm going to open the meeting tonight at 5 p.m. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Carol, roll call, please.
Mayor Sheets,
Present.
Greg Miller,
Present.
Megan Sheets.
Okay, next on the agenda are minutes from the January 10th regular meeting and the January 18th special meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Greg Miller,
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Okay, next we have the claims. I don't see someone, there they are. Okay,
So I'll make a motion that we approve the claims that are presented to us this evening.
Second.
roll call, please.
Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Greg Miller,
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, next on the agenda, we have public comments and we have Joshua Cole with us. Okay, would you like to step forward up here to the podium? Hi.
So not sure I need to
Okay,
first out here first.
okay, just tell us what you wanted to present to the Board of Works.
For myself, there's a couple of things I wanted to bring. One of them was we had the passing of a gentleman named Charles Fry. It was one thing that this community started to recognize him right there towards his end. There was some things I'd like to do is, so we've talked with certain people and just people around the community, everybody agreed that signage for commemoration for him, memorizing him, would be something that would be just good to see. You know, everybody is going to miss that wave, so seeing the sign might just be something that would help out.
Were you thinking on Walnut since that's
Yes.
where he was?
Yes, I was. I talked with NDOT. They talked with me about the Adopt a Highway program. And talking with them, I talked with Kim Wayne. She kind of informed me that we can't really go that manner because with it being on 28, the safety of getting the volunteers that would come out and do the 2 to 4 times a year to do cleanup. So they were trying to ask if there was another area that I would, be interested in. So with that, I told them, well, maybe I can just kind of fall away from the Adopt a Highway in that aspect. And they said, well, the reason why I say this is because out front you have the Jamie Jarbo, the gentleman that passed away. They've got signs for him. I didn't know how that was put out there. So if it had to be on someone's property, essentially they just didn't want to have it put in place and then the city or state have to take it down because of.
And you did talk to someone at NDOT?
Yes, I did.
You did? Okay, because that's what I was going to ask you, Scott. He would have to run that through NDOT, right? A sign on 28.
Yeah, I know, I think the signs you're referring to at the bridge were done by the state
Yes.
legislature.
Yes.
The sign, I think from, memories on the side of the road, like highway, when there's a crash or something, NDOT has specific rules where those things fall, and not anybody can just put those out. So we have to look into it. But any sign that you see is usually from the state. Senator, state representative, they have pushed that through General Assembly, and that's why the bridges are renamed in that aspect. We can help them look into that.
Okay.
But I think on a highway, you're pretty much, it's going to be very hard.
Yeah. And I don't know. I know he was like at that Simply Case up there that was right next door. I don't know if, yeah, that's what I say. You might talk to them. Yeah, they might let you do that. And also then that one side is a city street, so. Yeah.
Thank you very much on that one. Another thing that I had, is signage over, if you all know the Morrison, Belen, and Myrtle area, over there by the old Exide battery. With us having all the road work that's going on right now, the road runner, I do a lot of my travel down the back roads to get to the jobs out there at the factories. People are not paying attention to any of those stop signs. So much so that I've had to swerve with my passengers in my car. And that's when you got clients in the car, you're swerving and you're supposed to be a professional driver. That does not look good on your company. Luckily, they all see what was going on and it was avoided. But there should be, I'm saying it's a problem that I'm bringing, so there's a solution that I've got as well for it. If I heard, is that if they put it like right out there in the middle of just a small little triangle with a 3-way stop, the 3-way would be for, because it's kind of a 4-way. You got Morrison, it's a Y, it splits off the blend, and then you got Myrtle that comes in on the side. But if you did one stop this way, it would stop Morrison coming in, Glen, and then it would be three-way this way, so you'd have Morrison coming this way, and then the one for Myrtle. I think if they had that out there for everyone, it would really solve a lot of problems, because we have a lot of new drivers with the younger kids coming into place, and us older folks who know that law, they don't. And I'm not wanting to see myself or anyone else fall victim to improper signage. Not that it's improper, it's not adequate enough. And so that's one thing I want to
So do you have
bring
any
up.
suggestions on that, or? Jason?
I'll defer to the street department.
Okay, Jason.
No, we can look at about anything. My first thought was to try to maybe put a stop sign on the Exide side.
Okay.
It's all concrete over there. We could do something like that. I'm assuming you're talking about like an island, three-way stop. That would obviously be something we could look into. It's obviously going to be much more expensive than just putting up a normal stop sign. But we have definitely an option, just like Scott said about out here. We'll work with you and see what we can figure out. Because it is, I mean, I grew up over there. I know it's always been a weird intersection, so to speak. And you know, especially for people going westbound on Morrison, because they don't stop at all. And if someone's coming off of Myrtle on to Morrison, I'm sure there's been accidents there. And I talked to him this morning and for probably 20, 25 minutes and told him that I would, you know, Scott would probably have to do some type of traffic survey there to look at and see what, you know, what kind of accidents we've had there. And maybe that'll help us decide what we need to put there. Maybe something to slow people down a little bit to start with, or just go on and do what we need to do. But I understand his concern.
So you can work with Scott and see what we can do to help you out on that. Okay.
And then I had one more thing.
Okay.
Another thing, I moved away from Frankfurt. I grew up here my whole life, born here, raised here. I moved away for 10 years. I moved here. I moved away up to Indianapolis, specifically to the south side, around the Garfield Park area. That area was a really nice area, you know, more of the elder folks. It slowly started to change and move into the younger crowd. In doing so, that I watched it fail horribly. Horribly so just because the property value there crashed. The reason why is because they had all these jobs downtown, but no way for the kids to get there. So then they put in that bus system. I left in the last 2 years. And since I've moved, I've went back a few times and looked at how it just flourished exponentially. So one thing I see about Frankfurt is growing. Some of the conversations that I've had with some people since I've been speaking my voice is that I'm hearing about people wanting sidewalks to go to 65. You've been hearing about people wanting to have concerts downtown. It's no longer smoke. It's happening. People are blowing smoke up the butt, they're in, however you want to call it. Things are happening. So with that being said, there's things I'm seeing in the transport that's not there. I own a taxi business, there's probably 3 others in town. We can't satisfy the clients that are needed out here, especially the factories. Then you get the schools, then you get the elders, which you get the Paul Phil, they're trying to help out and stuff like that. I know that they've got some in place, but it's not enough. I say that because these factories out here, every one of them have for hire. Everybody's like, you know, nobody wants to work. It's not that people don't want to work, so they can't get to work. Right now we got low poverty, so people get a tax check, you know, $1,500, you know, that's not a lot to those people. You know, so they get it, and you're like, we'll put $1,500 for a car. So they get a $1,500 car. Well, the one thing that guarantees is probably about 1,500 miles. And then, you know, then what? Well, you've already got that job. You know, you sign yourself into it 90 days, 60 days. You can do what they want. You're not missing time. You know, so you're missing time, and it's because your car or your kids, you know, they got to get to school. If they had a fixed bus route that ran, I think that would be something that would be greatly appreciated and utilized by the community. And I say that just because of where I was at, what I see here, people walking. It's freezing cold, nobody wants to walk. I own a taxi cab business. Nobody wants to ride timeshare or double shared in a small vehicle. Something about a bus, people don't mind that. They still utilize that bus if they don't care. Greyhounds are still running. You know, planes are still running. So they don't care about that aspect, but they don't want to do it in small vehicles. I've got 2 vehicles and I'm missing people. I'm getting people late to work because I'm going to get this person, that person. And I'm going bouncing back and forth from the east side, west side of Frankfurt. So if we put a fixed bus route that ran 28 from Walmart out to Jefferson for flashing lights, you'd be able to utilize and hit all those facilities. And when I say that, I took Friday to contact the ones that I've seen on 28 from me Hacienda out to the lights, custom building products, and everybody was on board. Everybody from HR department, and I say everybody that I contacted. HR was like, yeah, we're on board with that. It sounds like a really good idea. Some people cared to use their names, some people didn't want to put their names. And I was like, that's fine. But I just wanted to get an idea of what it would, what they thought. And most of them had 10, 15 employees, some had 2, some had none. They're like, we've got 6 employees here, we're not growing. But with the growth that Frankfurt's talking about, if you're going to run the sidewalk all the way out to 65, well, then those 7 employees that you have now can blossom and grow more, depending on what the community brings, what everybody's going to bring. One thing that I'm worried about is the younger kids not having rides to and from, whether it be school. We're talking about the new program going into Marsh Building. You're going to need to get them kids to that. Not everybody's going to have a car. Not everybody's going to have transportation. There's a problem, and you probably want to get a solution before you get about neck deep in it. So that's just kind of one of the solutions that I have.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming this evening and talking about those things that are concerning to you. Of course, there's a cost that comes with that public transportation, so that's another thing that probably we would have to address with the council as well to see if it's something that would be feasible for the city. So, okay, thank you. Okay, next we have department reports. Chief Shoemaker, what do you have for us this evening?
It's an honor for me to come here tonight to present to you 2 officers who have went above and beyond in 2021. The first, on August 12th, Captain Cesar Munoz and other officers from the Frankfurt Police Department and the Sheriff's Office were dispatched to a suicidal person at the City Lagoons. An individual had sent a photograph of themselves holding a firearm and had said goodbyes to their family. Captain Munoz requested Clinton County Central Dispatch work with the telephone company for emergency location of her cellular device. Coordinates were given for a general area. Sergeant Joey Mitchell from the Sheriff's Office located the vehicle north of the city at a church. Once Captain Munoz arrived, he initiated a conversation with the individual who had the gun to their chest. Captain Munoz quickly established a rapport with the suicidal individual. Within 12 minutes of dialogue via cellular phone, the subject had exited the vehicle and made contact in person with Captain Munoz. They were transported to the hospital for further evaluation. The nomination for this award came from one of Captain Munoz's own officers. In their nomination, they state, Captain Munoz immediately recognized a highly charged incident where his quick, decisive, and compassionate actions resulted in a positive outcome. Law enforcement officers are often overlooked for the good they do, so I would like to take this opportunity to call attention to the exemplary acts of Captain Munoz on August 12, 2021. I had spoken to the individual involved in this incident, who thankfully is still with us today. I explained the award nomination and that I was giving the award to Captain Munoz. Here's what she told me. I wouldn't be here if not for him. I'm grateful for his quick actions. I'm really happy he is getting the award. He deserves it. Therefore, I'm awarding Captain Cesar Munoz with the Police Meritorious Service Medal. This medal is given to employees who distinguish themselves by performing exceptional service in a duty of great responsibility or of critical importance to law enforcement. Captain Munoz. Well, if you want, we can.
I just got up there.
Oh, okay. Kimberly. Yeah. Okay. Also, Captain Munoz will receive a pin for his uniform. A plaque for his office if he ever gets one. And then we have meritorious conduct ribbon and medal that he will have. So, appreciate them, and then we'll do one point, we'll take a photo with the mayor, is that okay?
Oh, okay.
You want to say anything to Captain?
I just want to say thank you very much for your service. That's outstanding what you did. Yes, makes us proud to know we have an officer at our Frankfurt Police Department. Thank you that would do this type of thing. Thank you so much.
You want to say anything? Shortly after that, on August 26, 2021, Officer Zachary Nichols and other officers from the Frankfurt Police Department were dispatched to report of a naked man on a residential rooftop. The individual had left the hospital after being taken for a mental evaluation. After 4 hours of unsuccessful negotiations, the individual attempted to harm himself with the drawstring. Officer Nichols quickly climbed a ladder when the individual attempted to shove Officer Nichols from the ladder. Officer Nichols deployed his taser as he quickly leaped over the pitch of the roof to grab the individual to keep him from falling off the roof. This was done at a high propensity of injury to himself. This nomination for this award came from me. I was next to Officer Nichols on a separate ladder negotiating with the individual. I observed Officer Nichols' quick and decisive actions that not only saved the individual from self-harm, but protected him even further and preventing him from rolling off the roof after police action was necessary. Officer Nichols performed at hero levels for this individual who was in crisis. Although this individual has a long criminal history and was facing a parole warrant, Officer Nichols rose to the moment and ended this unusual but dangerous standoff without any harm done to the suspect or himself. Therefore, I am awarding Officer Zachary Nichols with the Medal of Bravery. The Medal of Bravery is an award for bravery usually awarded to officers for individual acts of heroism in the line of duty. Officer Nichols. One more award for Officer Nichols. This is a nomination for Officer of the Year for 2021. Zachary has demonstrated consistent professional discharge of duties as a police officer. He is reliable, dependable, and a sincere individual. In the time I have known Zachary, and I should say this is from Captain Munoz. I agree with him. I do agree with him, but I want the eyes of Captain Munoz and his squad of supervisors nominated him for this award. He has always been consistent, knowledgeable, and a strong team member of our department. Zachary is very involved at the Frankfurt Police Department and takes on several other tasks other than being a great patrol officer. He is very active within our training divisions to ensure our officers get the best training possible. Zachary is always looking to help improve our training and updating our equipment. He's also involved on the Clinton County SWAT team as an operator, often putting on several of their tactical trainings. He is very passionate and dedicated to the Frankfurt Police Department. Zachary is a well-rounded officer and that other officers look up to. Zachary honorably represents the Frankfurt Police Department with pride. With this being said, I truly believe Zachary Nichols is very deserving of this award. And based on all of his work in 2021, he helped save us a lot of money in our firearms purchases, our SWAT purchases, and has helped to modernize our training. I think we're all impressed. Right, Brady? Yeah, Brady. He does a very good job. So he is our Officer of the Year for 2021 too. So.
Officer Nichols, I want to thank you for your service at the Frankfurt Police Department. We appreciate you. Thank you for your dedication and all that you do for us. Thank you.
You want to pause to take a photo with you, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
We're done.
And we can put that.
The only item on the agenda, or not on the agenda, that we had been asked over the weekend, on Saturday, I received a phone call requesting a street light. I sent it to Captain Munoz on Sunday evening. He met with the complaint on that and is recommending a stoplight, street light in the area of 1451 West Green Street. And we believe it's pole number 12215A. And if that's not it exactly, I will update you, but we believe that's the pole number. And it is very dark down there. You know, the complaint is valid. His recommendation was to add the light.
I know when that lady contacted me, she was very concerned because of the safety and.
Yeah, she was very dark area and it kind of curves right there. There's not a light in there that would help direct, so it'd be great that.
Okay. Could I have a motion to approve that?
Yes, I'll make the motion to approve the street light as numbered by the chief and appreciate the citizens' request to do so.
Yes, second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Sheets. Greg Miller.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Scott, for working on that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
If there are other questions, you got a question? You look like it. That's all we have.
Oh, yeah. And thank you for all the officers that are here this evening to support your fellow officers. I think that's so important. Okay, thank you. Thank you. See you. Thank you.
Somehow I think he should stay. I feel ultra safe with all this.
Only back here till 6. Dang it. That's right.
Okay, I cleaned the room out. Okay, next up is Parks Department.
All right, thank you, board. First, I'd spoken to you guys about our printer in the office, and so I'd sent you quotes we had on the printer. Updated you that there's a better option if we did a lease, a long-term lease. That includes all the toner, all the maintenance, all the issues. That's $48 per month, and I think you guys have all the paperwork. So I'm hoping we can approve that so we can get a new printer in the office.
Yes, thank you for following up on the questions that we had to get this. And so I think we had our questions sufficiently answered. I'd like to make the motion we approve the lease of the printer that you presented.
I second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Greg Miller.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Thank you.
You can go ahead and move forward with that printer.
Thank you. The second thing I have is I had sent you guys quotes that we had received on our final truck purchase out of our budget for the year. We could potentially purchase another one later with CCD funds, but right now we budgeted 3 vehicles for that $60,000. Right now we have $29,000 left in that fund, a little over $29,000, and we have reached out to multiple places the same way I did with the last trucks that we purchased. It's much harder to find F-250s right now, which we were looking for one that either we could add a dump bed to, or it was one that would already come with a dump bed, which is a really needed feature for that truck. We were able to find all 3 of the vehicles that I have quotes on with dump bags attached, and so I propose that we move forward with the F-250. That's $27,900.
Are you trading anything in?
We're not trading anything in. This is going to replace the landscaping vehicle. It's a 1996 Ford 150. It still runs. It's just in a bad shape. So I would leave that up to the board if they want us to put it in the auction later this year.
Okay.
But currently, right now, there's no trade-in towards the vehicle.
Or if you would, why don't you read each of the 3 bids in by name and amount so Carol can get it in the minutes?
I can do that.
And then if you can leave her copies of those for the minutes as well.
Yes, sir. The first one is the 2016 Ford F-150 or F-350. Apologize, and that is from Indie Truck Sales. It is $36,990. We did reach out to everyone in town as well. That's always our first option, is go in town. We did not have any bidders from in town this time. On the last trucks we did, but in town no one had what we needed. The second one is, it is from Filson Chevy in Lebanon, and it is a 2014 Ford F-250, and it is $28,900. And the truck that we would like to move forward with, if possible, is a 2015 Ford Super Duty F-250 for $27,900.
Where is it, did you say?
It is at Indy Truck Sales as well.
That's in the trace.
Mhm.
Okay.
I did have like 7 different quotes, but these were all the ones that were most competitive. Most of them were far out of
Can
the
you tell
question.
me that 2016 Ford Super Duty F-350? Can you tell me what the cost?
It is $36,990.
Okay, that's a little bit different than what I had in the email, that's the reason why I want to make sure.
I may have mistyped it in the email.
Okay, because that
The
32.
official is 36,000.
Okay,
That was as close as we could get. I told them under 30. That was our budget, so.
okay. So I have any questions for him or?
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of the trucks as presented for the Parks Department.
Second that.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Greg Miller.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Okay, and that's the 2015
Mhm.
Indy Truck Sales Ford F-250.
Mhm.
27,900.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
The rest of it is Marty going to be presenting a few events to you.
Oh, thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
So, Kim and I finally revised that application with the new fees, and we combined the 3 previous ones into one. Megan, you had a concern about the wording being confusing as to who it relates to. So in section 6, we moved it under events that require a state permit. So we thought that would sufficiently clear up any confusion.
Thank you. Previously, if I were applying, I thought it would apply to even smaller events such as birthday parties and baptisms and things.
Oh, I
So,
can
yeah.
see that.
Yeah,
So
so thank you for that clarification.
thank you for recommending that. We included the partitioned room aspect of the Encompass Event Center, like we had talked about at the planning meeting.
So there would be a possibility that you could have 3 separate events going on at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
That's just inside. You could
Yes.
have more outside.
Right, but inside because that partition's off.
Mhm.
Okay. And then I see that it says, first person to book's the one that gets the kitchenette,
Mhm.
so,
Exactly.
okay.
That's the only fair way to do it.
Mhm. Would you like to go over a little bit the old and then the new pricing? Just,
The old pricing was $75 for the first 3 hours and then $20 for every hour afterwards. Now it's just $250 for the whole day, and there's one event per event center. We're not double booking anymore. Oh, I guess you're right. $250, that's it. Yes. Prairie Creek Park can have up to 3 events in one day.
the 250s for
Yes.
the Prairie Park or the neighborhood center, correct?
Correct.
For the same cost,
Right.
okay. And then we remain the same on the Prairie Creek Park West and the west and east side. That remains the same.
Mhm.
Those are the only changes, okay.
Yes, everything else remains the same.
Okay, no changes on shelters or anything, okay,
You guys had revised the shelters the year before, so we left those alone.
okay.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
She had a chance to get the condensed version out to us and, I looked it over and I'm satisfied with it.
Are you looking at approving the generic form of application? Or are you approving the fee amounts?
Was looking for both.
I talked to Bart earlier today and I think Kim, I'd like to spend just a little more time on that. I had received an email about a week and a half ago from Todd Jackson that I interpreted. He still wasn't real comfortable with the insurance language on the special events form. And I have what he needs. And if I can have 2 weeks and meet again with Marty and Bart and Kim, maybe, I think we can get that. I just see no problem with going ahead and approving the applications that have been submitted, but I'd like to just refine the special events one a little more. For example, we don't have a definition for what is a special event.
Okay.
You know, when do you decide that the insurance is required? When do you decide that it's not?
I didn't think that was part of the.
And some communities have put that in ordinance form. So if I could buy a little time as far as approval of the generic application form going forward, I would appreciate that.
So could we go ahead, would you be okay with this approving the rate?
Yes,
The rate
yes.
change?
And eventually we might want to put some of those fees in ordinance form as well. You know, a lot of fees that we have are in ordinance
Yes.
form. So there's a lot to look at there. But we can't hold up, you know, what
Right,
we're
because
doing.
people are probably
So-
wanting to rent this right now. That's what I was wondering if we could go ahead and at least get the fees.
Sure,
so that they
sure.
Okay. Or Megan Gregory.
What form would they use for an application? They would still use this draft form?
Use this, why don't you go ahead and approve the form, I guess,
Okay.
provisionally until it's revised, which I think it will be.
Okay.
And then we're also looking at exactly on the insurance, correct? That's what I'm doing. Okay.
Well, I'll make the motion then that we not only approve the fees are secure at this point, we want to definitely approve the fees, but the application form itself pending, provisionally pending further review and maybe review insurance piece, but what am I trying to say? It could be further revised, but as of this evening, we'll approve the draft form that's submitted provisionally, I should say.
Will that work for you then, at least if we get the fees put in place? Okay, thank you.
I second that.
Okay, roll call please.
Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Greg Miller.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Les, should there be anything stamped or copied on the top to declare that it's a provisional copy or anything such as that?
I don't think you need that.
Okay.
It's what we have until we revise it, so.
Okay, thank you for your suggestions, Les.
Thank you. The second item I have is the Chamber of Commerce wants a fee waiver for Prairie Creek Park on March 19th to host a legislative breakfast. They anticipate under 60 attendees.
I'll make a motion that we accept the application for Clinton County Chamber of Commerce and waive fees accordingly.
I'll second.
Roll call please.
Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Greg Miller.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye. Okay, you'll let them know then. Okay, thank you.
The third item I have is a special event. It's a 5K at TPA Park. Healthy Communities of Clinton County is putting this on. The event is called Stepping on Stigma. The event will require road closures, use of one of our shelter houses, and it's going to take place within the park, but will also go down Bob Sanders Drive, down Burlington Avenue to Lakeview Drive. And this is, we posted this before.
Did the police department help with that before, so are they aware of it?
Mhm.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for them?
I'll make the motion that we approve the application for Healthy Communities for May 21st.
Excuse me, Mayor. I will, once it's approved, I'll send it to Scott. I haven't done it.
You haven't talked to anybody?
No.
Okay.
I'll send it to the streets department and to Scott.
So it's just a small area, right, that's gonna be in the
Mhm.
public streets, okay. Okay,
I second the motion.
roll call please, Carol.
Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Greg Miller.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. The next item I have are the upcoming events for 2022 at the park. Pretty much doing everything we did last year. Hopefully building on some of the existing events by adding more activities within, but I'm still planning. Kim and I will be working on the concert series. I know last year there weren't this many. But otherwise, the events I have listed are events that have taken place before.
Okay. And you're still planning on the movie nights, Easter egg hunt,
Yes.
4th of July, the bike racing circle, Hispanic Heritage. And nothing has been said yet about Halloween, I'm guessing. On TBA.
Usually that's the fun group.
Yeah, they put that on.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Any questions for on this?
More questions? Is a motion required or is it more informative than?
We need a motion to that. Okay,
I'll make the motion that we accept the dates for the parks events for 2022.
I'll second.
roll call please.
Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Greg Miller.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Okay,
Okay, and the last item I have is a fee waiver for the neighborhood center to be used by the Clinton County Republican Party. Carol, thank you for adding this. We got this late. He plans to host a vacancy caucus on February 5th. And he just needs it for less than 2 hours. He anticipates about 45 people.
I'll make the motion that we approve the neighborhood center application for the County Republican Party for their caucus.
I second.
roll call.
Mayor Sheets. Greg Miller.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Okay,
Thank you.
everything?
Yes, that's it. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank you, Marty. Okay, street department, Jason.
Thank you, Mayor. I know I'm not on the agenda.
I wrote John here, you're on here.
Skip less.
Thank you.
We got our new 1-ton one ton for this year back from Clark with the new dump bed and everything on it. And I just need to equip it with a salt spreader. And the two bids you have before you, your Clark truck equipment out of Crawfordsville for $9,249, and then Phoenix Lawn and Garden here locally for $92.48. We bought off of Phoenix in the past. That's Salt Dog is on all of our other 1-ton black trucks that you've seen throughout town. So the board works approve. I'd like to move forward and get a new salt spreader for that black truck.
And you do that, have that budgeted?
Yes, yeah, I do. I'm actually going to take Mary out of the fund for the truck coming up for this year.
Okay,
It's already there, so 'cause I don't think we're going to put a spreader on the new 1-ton that will be ordered.
okay, so you think you'll be okay?
Yeah, fine.
Is there, preference you have, Jason, over Clark, or Phoenix?
I've actually, with the ones we have now are Phoenix, and they haven't get us any trouble, if that's what you're asking. We do a lot of work with Clark. Clark is actually the one we bought the plow off of for the one from last year, and also the dump bed. But Phoenix is the salt dog that we bought from Phoenix that we bought 2-3 years ago. The guys really like the adjustments for how they kick the salt out are a lot easier. Plus, what I've noticed immediately, it happened during the Fire and Ice. I don't know if you guys remember the one, probably the first Fire and Ice festival we had. We had a really bad morning that morning with a lot of ice on the roadway, and that particular salt dog can run. You can run in the middle of Main Street, and it'll spread salt from one edge to the other. So that's why we kind of stayed with the salt dog versus the westerns we used to have.
Given that recommendation, I'll make a motion, we approve the Phoenix quote that you've presented to us this evening.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Greg Miller.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Next two things go real quick, Mayor. I know I wasn't here at the special board works meeting, but I heard you guys had looked over some of our projects. I wanted to kind of see if we could, I don't know if we need to amend it less or if we just need to go on the record and change it up a little bit, but we're actually gonna have 10 different projects this year versus the 9. And it actually came out to right at 648,000 and some change. So it's gonna stay that all the estimates of those 10 projects came out to that 648, and I can sit down with you guys and let you know what those 10 are. But I think it worked out pretty well for us. We had the 650. If we double it, we'll have the 650. So I think we're using as much as we could possibly use. So
Did you add or just?
we had 9. I actually added 8. I can give you those.
And we can talk at the
That
planning
would be
session if you
what
want.
I would rather do. If we can talk maybe tomorrow, I'll give you the
Yeah.
names of those. And, just for some reasons anyway.
Okay. Yep. But this is what you're looking at to present for this.
I'm actually ready to submit the grant. I sent NDOT yesterday, submitted it. They gave me 2 ideas to change. One of them was, well, they were both the same. What I always thought was State Road 28, or what we call East Walnut Street, they actually call US 421. So you have to have US 421 on the estimates, and you have to have US 421 in the mapping as well. So I put US 421 and East Walnut Street in parentheses, so hopefully that works. It's a little more than we needed to, and I think it was nice to have that there. But US 421 is where it actually, I think it was Van Buren and East Street both connect or end at East Walnut or US 421. Other than that, they didn't see any other problems. So I'm going to double check it. I've got a few days to send it in.
Does it have to be in
Friday,
Friday?
5 o'clock. Yeah. So we'll get that submitted sometime next couple of days and everything. I just kind of want to look over it again myself.
Les, do we need any kind of motion on that since we did take a motion at the previous meeting for the 9 projects, which the scope has changed
I
slightly?
would think you would, yes.
Do you have a recommendation?
No.
I mean, I'll be happy to give you the names. I kind of.
Can we just wait till next meeting?
In case what happens. Because you were doing the process.
Just know that it was under discussion this evening, maybe for the minutes, that the scope of the projects may be reevaluated until such time that grant is approved.
right, the last thing I had real quick, and I just got this email today. Norman Miller Eye Care is going to be moving into, cannot remember the name of the business. They're on 28 on West Walnut. Yeah.
AutoZone, Advanced Auto, I think.
And Cameron Norman, I believe is his name, sent me an email in reference to that alleyway that runs between the American Legion
And Family Dollar.
Family Dollar.
Yes.
That it's in bad shape, which it is in bad shape. I don't know when the last time anything was done with it, but we're going to attempt to patch it, obviously, as we move forward. But just wanted to make sure the Board of Works was aware that if we end up trying to do something with that, it'll obviously have to be a paved roadway. So it'll have to be repaved. That's what we decided to do. But I want to bring it to you guys, and then I'll reply to him tomorrow via email and let him know that we're looking to. Obviously, we're not. Only thing we can do right now is patch. We can't do anything else. I'm sure he's aware of that. He's moving March 22nd.
Okay.
So that'll be kind
I
of close.
think we're going to use that alley then.
Well, he's thinking he'll get a lot of traffic from that alleyway.
I know somebody that's part of that had asked me about that one-way street again, and I said, we discussed that before, and I don't know, I looked at it again, I don't know that it's gonna be wide enough to make that two-way, and then you're gonna have your semis trying to go down there. I don't know, but that was brought up to me again, to consider that, but.
I think we tabled that, we appreciated that input, but we tabled it until more of the construction was done to see.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
What it all, yeah.
28.
They're using the alley the other way, so that's why.
That's why the alley's falling
That's why the
apart.
alley's falling apart. So
Okay.
two ways.
We went down, we did some patching on some Domino's alley the other day. I don't know how good it's going to be, but I even shut it off for probably 2.5 hours, just keep people off of it to try to let it set up a little bit better and everything. And we can do the same for this one and see if that will help. But I'm guessing if we were to repave that, we're probably talking basically what it would be to kind of do that. And Domino's alley, we're talking anywhere from $7 to $10 grand to do that. So if we want to look at that later on, we can. I just want to make you guys aware that was there. That's
On
all I
that street there. It's called Scott. Taylor. Do you want to wait till they get done with the 28 project then and just see exactly where we are? Okay. So let's wait and see what happens.
squeeze me in.
Always time for you.
Thank you. Okay. Russ. What's next?
I had submitted an employment agreement for this year. I usually get that out in December and didn't get it done for city attorney. Nothing was in the packet.
Oh, we went to sign. Yeah, to sign, yeah.
It's the same one we've used in previous years, other than the salary change. So they can be approved or disapproved.
I'll make a motion that we accept the employment agreement as presented.
Yeah, second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Greg Miller.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye. Thank you,
Thank
Liz.
you. The other thing I had is the Prairie Creek Park camera surveillance and maintenance agreement, which I thought Bart would probably.
I can talk about it. Sorry, Les.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bart really knows more about the background for it. I drafted it off of a draft that had been prepared by Tom Little and made quite a few changes. So I think Bart can better explain what's behind it than I can.
Yeah. Basically, the rules and the Littles approached the mayor, I think last year, and then she just had me take care of it. Essentially, what happened was, or what they want to do, they're proposing is putting cameras on the outside of their building. So all the cameras would attach to the Little building or the Rural building. 4 of those cameras will actually cover parts of Prairie Creek Park that we don't actually have coverage for. 2 of them are entrances. One of them is the top of the parking garage. And then the other one is actually gonna angle down and look underneath the parking garage. And so they originally approached us because they felt like since the city was going to gain from it, they would like a contract with basically to help purchase the equipment because it would behoove us essentially. So I ran that by the mayor. She thought it would, be an okay deal. So now they're adding 11 cameras, but 4 of them are gonna be directly looking into the park. And so basically Les drew up the legal document that says they will cover 4 of those cameras, right, Les?
Yes, the draft that was submitted to me had each party owning 1/3 interest in all the equipment, which I felt uncomfortable with and didn't even know if we could do it legally. And then you run into insurance issues and everything else. So finally, I just thought, well, let's take 4 cameras and own those, and they'll own 7, and they own the monitoring equipment.
Right.
And we'll maintain the 4 cameras. They can maintain the monitoring equipment, the other cameras, so we don't have that co-ownership issue. And then what was the total price? $5,700,
Yes.
I think. When I first drew it up, I thought that that had not yet been purchased. And then when I just ran it by briefly, Tom Little late last week, he said, "Oh, it's been purchased. They're all installed." So then I had to add language that in the event they've already been purchased, and the other 2 parties can submit claims for 1/2 of $1,906, which is the city's 1/3 of the cost of the hardware, accepting sales tax, which they can take care of the sales tax because we're exempt from it anyway. So that's how we ended up with this thing.
Okay. Will you have access then?
I don't have access on my system, but they told us if we ever need access, that's fine, that we could access their system. They already do have a camera system there, it's older, they would be updating that and we would be able to, basically I would have the option to, if we have an issue, we could say the police could go review it. Because I traditionally don't, I just give it to the police. That's why they have all the access. Okay. So, and they would have the same access, yes.
And I just felt with all the problems that we have with vandalism, kids hanging around down there, climbing up on the center stage. I can't believe what all they'll do. And I thought probably it would not hurt to have more security cameras put in there.
We basically just approached the camera people and said, where else are security issues? That's where the 4 came out of. We didn't choose those, that's just what the camera contractor believes are the best options.
So the cameras that'll be put into place will be more of a deterrent than as opposed to, since you can't access. So if someone goes underneath the parking garage, you won't be aware of that. We'll just be able to monitor that later on if there's a problem.
Yeah, I would be able to see they get there through a few different other angles, but I wouldn't have access to that one angle until I went to the Little's building. I would not have access at any time.
And the police will have access to the monitoring equipment if they need it for
They can pull it up at any
investigation.
time. They don't have to come on site. They don't have to do anything.
There's
We would have that same.
graffiti or something like that.
Right.
Does that access that area along the railroad, in that back corner of the park?
We have that. We have coverage there already from the front side of the beer garden, or the south side of the beer garden. So that kind of looks in that area.
And it operates?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the cameras are functioning.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of back by the railroad, if I understood it correctly from you, we are still trying to get the fencing put in.
Yeah, we're gonna have a 10-foot fence there.
There's still juveniles coming down through there, getting into the park.
There's a lot of traffic through that area. That's why I was wondering if the cameras are already pointed in that direction, because there's a lot of use of that railroad.
They are. I mean, the other thing is though, even though there's traffic down there, it's not like people have been damaging it. So I would have no reason to review it. When we have needed the cameras, they've been a huge help. All the damage that we've had, we've been able to catch on camera. That's why they've been prosecuted, thankfully. So, but with the fence, yeah, that's hopefully gonna help that out. It'll change it from a broken down 4-foot fence to a 10-foot tall fence that matches the rest of Prairie Creek Park.
So I think that'll help a lot, keeping the juveniles out in that back part.
So
Let's go. They'll find another way.
they're gonna climb. Yeah. All we can do is deter them.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we accept the Prairie Creek Park camera surveillance and maintenance agreement as presented.
And I'll second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Greg Miller.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye. And then this needs to go to Larry Rule and somebody at Overall, right? Wes?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Don, did you have anything?
No,
You're not
ma'am.
on the agenda, but we can write you in.
No, I'm quiet tonight, thanks.
Okay. Matt,
Not tonight.
nothing for us?
No, there'll be a lot tomorrow, not tonight.
Oh. So be prepared, right?
Yes.
Okay. Kimberly,
I just wanted to remind everyone, Monday is the ribbon cutting for Washington Avenue's completion project. So invite everybody out at 2:00 right in front of the post office for the ribbon cutting. So just a reminder.
Have you arranged for warmer weather?
I'm hoping.
I don't see it on my calendar. Can you put it on, what time is it?
2:00 on Monday, the 31st.
I don't have it on there.
Well,
Anything you told me. I knew what it was, but, okay, so we invite everyone there. Hopefully it won't be a blizzard or rainy or whatever. Anybody have anything else? Oh, I'm glad you reminded me. Do you have, you want to read off their report? Can we do conflict of interest for all of them? Okay.
So we have this time of year, conflict of interest forms being turned in, and we have received a few. I'm sure we'll have a few more at the next couple of meetings. Do you want me to address these individually, or?
You can just ask me that. You can read all of them.
Okay. Okay, so we have one for Judith Sheets for JVS Welding, Marisol Douglas for Douglas Window Tinting, Jonathan J. Large for Large Sound LLC, and Edward Russell for Dave's Body Shop.
I'll move that we accept the conflict of interest disclosure statements from the individuals that you noted.
I second.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Sheets.
Aye.
Greg Miller.
Aye.
Megan Sheets.
Aye. That taken care of. Anything else? Girl, did I forget anything else?
I think that's everything I know of.
That's it? Okay. I'll take the motion.
So move.
Okay, okay, thank you.
I think about 6 minutes.
Wow.